Next, let's clear up education. North Carolina school board member censured after sharing anti-LGBTQ plus image. The Mount Airy Board of Education held a special meeting on July 10th to censure board member Randy Moore, a U.S. Army veteran who was appointed to the board in January of 2021. Moore had posted a Facebook image of a figure in red, white, and blue colors, kicking the midsection of another rainbow-colored figure symbolizing the LGBTQ plus community. He defended posting the image, saying he had free speech rights to oppose woke cultural issues. Moore told the publication that he loves the LGBTQ plus community, but not their doings, meaning homosexual behavior, a variation of the classic Christian cliche to, quote, love the sinner, hate the sin, end quote. The cliche isn't contained in the Bible, and a 2018 study found that Christians who endorsed the cliche had stronger anti-LGBTQ plus attitudes than others. School board members in several southern states have become more vocally opposed to racial and LGBTQ plus inclusions in schools since the 2021 election campaign of Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, who is a Republican. Youngkin's campaign highlighted parents' rights for opposing so-called woke anti-racist education in schools. Concurrently, parents in the state's Loudoun County School District shut down board meetings through angry mass protests against transgender inclusive school policies. Moore is one of several Christians who've expressed interest in reclaiming the rainbow from the LGBTQ plus community. Well, let me just say, to my home state, that's my home state.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh. He's not too happy.
Real proud.
Yeah.
Real proud.
Yeah. Well, there is Asheville, at least. Anyway, there are places. But you ain't getting that rainbow back. I'm just saying, you ain't getting it back.
No, not.
No, you know, this is just, it's just such ignorance on parade. And that's what makes me angry, in addition to other things, is how ignorance is prevailing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, you know, it drives me crazy.
It's amazing how many people love us and how they show their love for the LGBT community. It just is the love. And that is the way that you show that you love us.
Who the hell taught this Christian guy how to love? Because that is like some really effed up love.
Under the guise of Christianity.
If those two stick figures were the American flag and a woman, okay, people would be super upset and pissed off. You can't do that, okay? You basically are saying that I love LGBTQ, but I'll beat your ass if you're LGBTQ. That's basically what I got from that post, you know? And you're on a school board. You're elected, right? Like, what in the living F? You shouldn't be allowed, and it should be in some of your bylaws or something, that social media is a part of who you are, and you can't put things like that on social media.
How do you think you're going to get into your Christian heaven acting like this? like what are your rules? Where do you draw the line in the sand? Like, I'm going to get into heaven, but I'm going to fuck with this group real quick. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not getting into the pearly gates.
Yeah.
Neither am I, because cross-dressing, but like, we're going to hell together, sir.
You know, I always repeatedly apply the standard of other groups to the attack that he does on LGBT. We've seen this before. In the 1940s, and especially in the 1930s, we saw it in socialist Nazi Germany. And they would editorialize in cartoons. It was their social media. You would have an editorial page, and there would be cartoons that were driven, and it was white nationalism, Nazism against the Jewish community, and they would show images like that. And it is designed to tell you one is good, one is bad.
Yep.
Ultimately, in those images in the 1930s, it was to tell you one will live and one will die.
Which is very powerful imagery. I'm also waiting to see what conservative can actually explain the definition of woke
and
accurately, in an accurate fashion, to really understand that, number one, woke was something that Black people used during slavery in order to tell each other, girl, stay aware. Stay aware of what's going on around you. Stay woke. Stay attuned and alert and conscious. And now we have to stay conscious about what's stupid and what's ignorant in this time.
And to that point, so we saw it in the 30s and into the 40s. We see it in the 50s and the 1960s in white supremacists cartooning major newspapers all across the South that describe white nationalism against the black community in terms of integration of the schools, in terms of integration of society, and especially against defending segregation and the growing movement of Dr. Martin Luther King. And you saw horrible, stereotypical attack on the black community all over the South, because again, they were telling you a message of white is right, black is wrong. White should be in charge, black should be subservient. And this was almost 100 post years to a civil war. And ultimately, even to the fact of white can live and black can be lynched. That's what we saw here. And I wonder if the military representative on that school board realized, wait, you're following what Nazi Germany did in the 1930s and people like Governor Wallace did in the 1950s and 60s. Because if you were doing that to make a joke that we love the LGBTQ community, but we hate the sin of the community, it's really a horrific representation. It's not funny in any stretch of the imagination.
That's right. Go to hell.
We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ+ evening news show, brought to you from Happening Out Television Network. We operate in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ+ community. We educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching us on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the story going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.